How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to go over some very quick bits of price action from the SPY, or specifically the SPY E-mini futures, which is what I trade, the ES. So hopefully you watched yesterday's video, because this will follow on very, very well, because we're talking about the same levels. So you will remember I talked about these red lines here. This was sell side liquidity. This is where buyers had their stops. So yesterday we were looking for a potential fade back into these stops to run them, which happened overnight in the Asia and London session. So we can get rid of these now. Job is complete from that sense. So this was the close yesterday, all right, all the way up here pretty much at 4,800. So you all noticed we have gap down significantly, all right, 40 points basically on this gap down. So potentially looking for a gap and go flush. That is holding momentum to the same direction. But because we have just had this break of structure in here, we need to be very aware that the market will probably want to pull back and create liquidity before diving lower. So the first thing I'm thinking, where can we dive lower into? So I'm interested in this level here, all right? This was a breakout level from, I don't know, over 10 days ago now, where we built supply, we ducked down, we did that trap move, and we squeezed and ripped back up from it. So there's lots of orders potentially resting and sitting here. Now, if you look at a higher time frame chart, like a daily chart, you will also see that there is a fair value gap or daily imbalance in this area, which is not surprising because price moved aggressively away from here. So it's due a retest. So I am always thinking I want to follow higher time frame momentum. So even though I'm aware that the market may want to push up first, it is only going to want to push up to go down lower. And I get confident from that when I look at my flow zones. My EMAs are very, very clearly telling me that we need to be thinking about a short back down into this area. All right, so I'm thinking short. I'm not interested in the long today. All right, there will be a long setup. It is a counter trend long. If you do my course, links down below, you can get $200 off right now. So you can do the course for $299. I cover all of this. If you're an absolute novice, you will learn all of this, but the best trade to take is a pro trend trade. That is when you are trading in the same direction as the higher time frame. So the long trade this morning that you might be able to take is a counter trend trade. It is just a pullback leg on a higher time frame. So I personally was looking for the short today. So let's zoom in a little here and we can show you the price action that we had in the morning session. So we're coming into the open here at 9:30. I've got my supply marked out. I've got some clear levels marked out. We are going to have to wait for a pullback. We are thinking about a short, but we are not just going to jump in and hammer it lower. Okay, we're going to wait for some clean price action to develop. So this is the first time where it has shown a willingness to try and move higher, because we have a shift here. We have this wick here, a higher low and a potential higher high. So straight away, I'm going to go from pivot to pivot. Okay, I'm going to look for a potential retrace. I'm looking for areas of confluence. So right here, we have a potential pullback zone that I would be interested in because it is a golden zone. So let's mark this out. And there we go. So we have a golden zone for a pullback in supply, which, by the way, if you do my course, you will also learn is in this old pullback leg, and it is in the underside of the flag. So I have many, many, many reasons to be thinking about getting short up here. Okay, so I've just got to let the trade develop. I'm going to delete these fibs now because we don't need them, and just let it build the liquidity. So here we go. We're starting to build a very nice retail trend here, and we're starting to print the initial balances. So this is the channel that I am interested in right now. Okay, this sort of channel, something like this, I guess. So the question is, can we peak up towards the top of this channel? Can we sweep buy side liquidity above here? All right, and can we trap longs who think that we're going to do this but in actual fact, we're going to trap them in supply and then start to roll over. All right, that's the move that I'm ready for. If we don't do that, that's fine. I can think about a potential higher time frame shift, but I'm going to follow my flow zones as much as possible and the higher time frame. So holding trend here nicely. I want to see this hold to push higher. Perfect. Right, now we are in golden pocket. We are in the top of this channel. We are in the old flags underbelly. Okay, this area here, right? All these buyers, they are going to want to get out, break even. Okay, everyone who is in here, in London and Asia, and everyone who is swing long in here in this red zone is going to want to get out, break even, or as close to. That's why it is supply, because we've come underneath it and we are back testing it. All right, so lots of reasons here to think about the short, but that does not mean we execute the short straight away. We need to let it develop liquidity and build out some structure. If I got short here, I'd probably get squeezed, knowing my luck. So you have to just wait and let it do. It's still building lower time frame, higher highs, all right, and higher lows. So we've got to wait for that to shift. Flat top here, which I don't like to see. Okay, and now we've come underneath. So this here was our first shift, all right? This is telling us that it now wants to move lower because we've broken structure. We've gone from higher highs and higher lows to a lower low. So I'm looking for a lower high into this area here, right? And into supply, into my flow zones, into premium of the range. So I'm going to start to look to attack this area, and I need a break of structure just like that for confirmation. So now we have break of structure, we have the building. I'm going to delete this supply now so you can see it, and delete this. So now we have the building of a microstructure outside the channel. Okay, this is a smaller structure here outside the channel. So this is a potential bear flag for a breakdown. So what am I targeting? I'm going to target the low of day. So this low of day is the IB low, and underneath that I'm going to target that blue area if we can get there. If I'm very lucky, we'll get there. I'll look to add along the way if it gives me the opportunities. So nice break of structure. This is very good. If we can retest this old area, very much like this scenario, I'm looking to sell into that, okay? Because we've had change of character, break of structure, retest. This is the same model, right? We want to get short at higher prices in the trend direction. So I'm expecting this to flush back down. Break of structure will confirm it. There's the break of structure. So the same thing just repeats and repeats and repeats. We follow trend. We look to attack at good prices for breaks of structure at lower prices. So here we go. Very, very nice. Going to zoom out here and make sure I can get a cover in at some point. So I'm looking for us to run this liquidity at the lows right now. Starting to pull back up. So I can think yet again about exactly the same scenario. We're going to do a fib. Can we get a golden zone retracement, which is, by the way, also in this order block? So everything here is lining up very, very nicely. Can we come back up there and trap more bulls? There's a tap of it. Right, so adding back into this, you're going to say, oh, you're front side. I'm definitely not front side. I'm adding on pops for moves lower. Just like that. Okay, so covering the majority of my position into this liquidity pool, because I do not know if this is target met now. Do not know what it's going to do. I have to wait and see. So now it's a question of holding runners. And remember, ultimately, we're looking to attack this level down here. Now I can look for some confluence here. I can look for like a 161 or a fib, which would be just above this blue zone. So we might as well call it 50. So that would be a very, very nice level if we could get down into the 50 or under 50. That would be a good target area. Other than that, I'm going to look for any time we get a big reaction and I'm going to get out. Flushing lower prices. Lower still, very close to hitting target. Oh, well, we're actually under 50, so how many we got on? 3 on. Let's take 2 more off, look for a flash moment. Okay, don't like that, and I'm out. So simple. Nailing in, I know this is on replay, but nailing in $4,000 there. Now, if you'd done this over 3 accounts or multiple accounts, you could have used just like one contract and had it over 20 accounts. You would have done very, very well today. What happens from this point is key. This is where people get trapped, all right? We have met objective. We talked about this objective before it started. We've expanded, all right, 1.5 point of the move. You could probably even do, and I teach this in the course again, you can learn all of this in the course, $200 off, links in the description. All right, we have just done a measured move of the initial balance. This is a very, very common move. Now, if we cannot hold down here, we are going to auction back into the initial balance. Why is that? Most of the volume is created in here, all right? So if we do not hold price underneath, we will trade back into initial balance. And this is where shorts get stuck. They try and attack too late when the move is already done. So retesting initial balance needs to see a reaction lower. Otherwise, we're going to pivot higher, which is what you're starting to see here, okay? Now, what is the one thing I'd be very aware of if I was looking short here, all right? There is a ton of liquidity left from this morning session, all right? Tons of liquidity. We talked about it. I don't like to see it, but there is a flat top right here, which means all shorts have their stop above there, all right? They all have their stop above here, and the others will have it, I'm going to move this across, above this wick here. So if we can start to pivot, we will start to run these shorts out. Believe me, it is easy money for the algorithm to attack it. So we've started to create a W on a lower time frame. We have had a market structure shift now, so we should be thinking long. Where would we be thinking long into? Well, if we can hold this pullback here, would be great, or a trap underneath would also do just fine. Starting to hold, I'm going to attack that long. Expecting us to wash out, we're coming into close. I'm expecting us to take out these stops at the high. So the easy run has been done. I'm just going to hold some here and see if we can take out the highs. I think we're into close of the day. So probably just missed the fill. Can flatten that and added 1,000 extra. So easy, easy money. Just understanding where the liquidity is, where the pullback should occur to, and using fibs to guide you along the way. And if you don't use them, I love using my EMAs, right? They help me understand where price action wants to go to. I flick between having a lower time frame channel like this, right? Let's just exit this so you can see. A lower time frame to something like a 10-minute, where I know we are bearish, all right? And something like a 1 hour, where I know we are super bearish, okay? So what am I thinking now for tomorrow? All right, there's really two options. Either we're going to trade lower, or we are going to start to pivot up and try and take some of these stops out to the upside, all right? This is kind of no man's land right now, all right? We are starting to get into no man's land. You need to be very, very cautious trading this. So we back tested today, we failed, but intraday we squeezed at the end of the day, taking everyone out. So there seems to be a willingness to want to move higher. Let's go down to a daily. I'm just going to take my EMAs off. You'll see what I mean about the imbalance. So on the imbalance, we filled this imbalance here and we have closed above it, which is pretty telling if you ask me. So if we continue to close above this, we are going to try and run these prices up here. Now for me, this is also a little bit too clean. Even though we have an M pattern, all right, until we really start to show a willingness to print lower, which should mean underneath this right here, all right? And then I'd look for a back test to get short and roll over. Until that happens, this is prime to get swept, all right? Prime to get swept. So if we can hold this and start to curl, we can put in a weekly model. Weekly model is between Monday and Tuesday. We set our high and low of the week extremes, and only one of those will be broken. So today on Wednesday, we set a Wednesday low, which means I am not expecting Monday's high to be violated right now. I can be wrong. 20% of the time that model won't play out, but normally we will probably trade either lower or back inside the range we've created in these first 3 days. That's what I'm looking at. Hope this helps you. Don't forget, if you want to learn how to trade, even if you're a complete novice and you're watching these videos thinking, what the bloody hell is he talking about? I promise you, I've got over 20 hours of videos walking you through the stock market, what the setups are, how to understand the algorithms, how to look after your risk, all the cheat codes to get you understanding how to make money from the market. $200 off right now using the code YouTube. The link's underneath. Till tomorrow, trade safe.